Good evening, folks. 7 o'clock we've just gone past in Brisbane, Queensland, and right behind me is the Gold Coast Hinterland Monastery with the Stations of the Cross, for those who are interested. Our guest tonight and today in the morning in the UK is going to be presented to you by my co-host, none other than Andrena. Good morning to you, Andrena.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Dreaming the New Dream. And it's lovely to be back again. Another weekly amazing guest we have today. We have the lovely Ian Welch, and I listened to Ian talking with Mark Atwood, or I joined a webinar a few weeks ago, and it was all about pine cones, and it really fascinated me. And so hence I got in touch with Ian, and here we are today. So Ian's got an amazing story to share, and he's going to give us lots of tips and information about 5D and above. So welcome, Ian, and thank you for agreeing to be on the show today.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Looking forward to it very much. I have lots of lovely information and knowledge to share, as I always do. I love to empower people wherever I am, and I love questions, especially love questions.
Right. Or I'm sure there'll be plenty, and hopefully some of the viewers may want to ask some questions. So first of all, let's start your journey, how all this unfolded to where you are now. So I know you're from Hemel Hempstead, and I'm not quite sure where that is. Is that past Birmingham and up that way? Pardon my ignorance, but I'm not sure.
If you go,
where is it?
Up from London, if you get on the A41, it passes Watford, Amersham, all those major towns, and St Albans. It's all on that same A41, and then eventually you end up in Hemel Hempstead, right, which is where I was born, right, in Hemel Hempstead. St Albans I was born, and then moved to Hemel Hempstead. And so yeah, it's around about that area. So I started my experiences probably about the age of 12, and I would wake up in the middle of the night, and I was on the top bunk of the bed, and in front of me on the door, a television screen would appear, a huge screen in colour, and all these people would be walking around inside this screen, and then occasionally they would stop and wave and say hello to me. And I had no idea what was going on. We didn't own a television in our house at the time. And it was just a very strange experience. And this went on night after night after night. And eventually I got bored with it and just told them to go away. I wanted to go to sleep. So my third eye, my spiritual vision, was wide open at a very, very young age. And the dark side knew this. And they also tried to attack me, tried to remove me from this path. Until one day I screamed out, "God, please help me." And this evil, vile creature was removed from the room that was attacking me, and it never happened again. So that was at the age of 12. And then at the age of, well, between 12 and 19, any animals that were sick, and being at school, people seemed to know, or my friends seemed to know, that if anything was injured, they would bring it to me and I would touch it and completely cure it. So these were animals, and people would come up to me saying, "I've got a headache." And I would touch their head and the headache would vanish. So this started, say, very, very young. But at the age of 19, I actually went to a spiritualist church in, where would that be? Amersham way. And this lady that sat behind me tapped me on the head and said, "Excuse me, but my guides are telling me that you have a gift of healing and you should be using it." Thank you very much. And then she was very persistent, and she tapped me on the shoulder again and said, "Oh, by the way, they're telling me that you can heal and help your nan who's here." Now, I didn't know that she saw me coming in at all with my nan, my sister, my mum, but she sat on the same row with me, about 5 people away. And so I leant across and I said, "Nan, apparently you need some healing." And she's looking rather quizzical. She said, "No, I'm fine." And then the lady said, "No, tell her it's about her arm." So I leant across all these people again. "Nan, apparently it's about your arm." "Oh, I forgot about that." And apparently she had an injection from a doctor in her shoulder, which trapped a nerve. And every now and again, her arm would lock solid and she couldn't use it for months and she'd be in agony. So I said to this lady, "Well, what do I do?" And she said, well, you can go to see your nan. You can hold where the pain is in the arm, or have your hands away from it. Do what you feel. So I went to see my nan. I touched her arm, and she said it went red hot. I couldn't feel any temperature change, but she said it went red hot, and it completely cured her arm just in one touch. So from that point on, I wanted to know why and how that worked. So for the last 42 years, I have been studying, researching, traveling the whole planet to discover how and why we become sick and how we can actually heal that. So this is where I am today, of all this knowledge and wisdom and experience in 42 years of healing. Over to you.
Andrena, I think she's frozen. Unless she just...
No, I'm back again.
She's back.
Yeah.
Lady in pink.
Right. Carry on. Sorry, I missed some because the signal suddenly this end went haywire. So it's like, so please carry on.
No, he's waiting for you to ask a question.
Yeah, no, but
Yes.
that's what I missed. I totally was gone off air. So,
All right, let's
so
come back
anyway,
then.
you were saying,
Let's answer the question: why do humans get sick? Now, humans, we love to be well, and we love to be happy, abundant, vibrant, and so on. But we're not. Some of us are, but most of us are not. So I wanted to understand how that happens. And through healing tens of thousands of people and doing case histories with all these people, it occurs to me that it's the emotional body. So we have 4 bodies: mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. Now, the emotional body comes from our emotions, from the heart center. The mental body comes from the brain and how we think and how we use the brain. The physical, that's pretty straightforward. And the spiritual is the chakras and our auric field. Now, what happens is on the emotional body, and it's always the emotional body, we get damaged. So it's either our mum or our dad or both, or a relationship, something like that creates a problem within the emotional body. So we bury it. Somebody hurts us and we try to be strong and we bury that hurt. And if we're a child, we find it very, very hard to communicate those fears and those worries and those harms and traumas. So we bury it. Now, when we bury something, that then becomes poisonous for the body. It becomes like a toxic poison that resides somewhere in the physical body. Then it starts to fester and becomes putrid and weakens the body to the point where we get diseased. So what we do is we then unconditionally forgive that person that's harmed us. This releases the trauma from the emotional body. Then we retune the other 3 bodies: the mental, emotional, and the spiritual, physical rather. So then once we've healed those bodies, then the healing takes place. You get all your strength and energy back, and away we go. It's sorted. So everybody that comes to me, I look at their eyes, I look at their body, and I can see that the issue is either on the masculine side or the feminine side. And this you can do yourself. If you looked at yourself in the mirror, your face, now if your right eye is closed, then it's going to be your masculine side. That's where your dad issues or masculine issues from a relationship that you're in. If it's your left eye, it's the feminine side. So your eyes will actually give you a great indication of where you need to be working on your emotional body. So we bury these, and then it hurts your eyes are trying not to see where that issue is. It's trying to hide away from the male or hide away from the female. And it's going to be your mum and it's going to be your dad nearly every single time. Now, parents screw you over, and it's not their fault. You know, they've come from a very, very bad space as well. And all they've done is they've dumped those programs onto you. So I'll give you a quick story on that. And I love this story because I admire this lady so much. And this was 30 odd years ago. She came to me and she said, Ian, you have to help me. I've got 2 boys, they're twins. And every mealtime, I don't know where it comes from, I start shouting and screaming at them until they burst into tears. And she said, all I'm trying to do is to get them to eat their food. And of course, they get so traumatized, they don't end up eating their food. So anyway, I touched this lady and I immediately knew where the issue was. It was coming from her dad from when she was a child. Now, he would rape her every single day, without exception. And after he'd finished with her, he would take her downstairs to the kitchen, make her some food, and she was so traumatized, she wouldn't eat it. So he shouted and screamed at her. So that's where the program came from, into her body to shout and scream at her boys. But she'd forgotten about the trauma. She'd buried it. She'd pushed it to one side. So she said to me, well, what can I do? I said, well, you're not going to like this. I said, you're going to have to unconditionally forgive your dad. You're not going to say that it's right, but you're going to unconditionally forgive him for what he's done. Now, what she did next blew me away. She didn't know where he lived. So she researched and found where he lived. She bought a huge bunch of flowers, a bouquet of flowers, knocked on his door. He opened it. She handed him the flowers and said, Dad, I unconditionally forgive you for all the hurt you caused me. I love you. And walked away. And that was the end of it. No more shouting and screaming at her boys. So this is how powerful this can be in letting go of the hurts that people have caused us. And especially now being in the 5th dimensional frequency, which we are, and the whole planet is, it's going to be harder and harder for you lot out there to hold on to these emotional blockages and traumas that you've experienced, that we've all experienced.
Hey, Ian.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you straight away. One of our friends, Andrena and I, this guy called Joe, and he was a professional photographer, and he was asked to go to a funeral home. And he got there, and this lady had the big flash Mercedes car, and she said, I want you to come and take a photo of me inside. And so he went there, and she'd got this bloody big coffin all laid up, and it was filled with roses all over it, and there'd be a photo of her and her husband. Yeah. And then she went out and got dressed into her bridal dress, and then came in and said, right, I want you to take a photo of the scene. And after the photo, he said, can I ask what that's about? Has your husband died? No, he ran off with a younger woman. And I was told the best way to release this was to go through a process of grieving by letting him go. He's now passed on.
Wow.
Would that be similar to what you just actually expressed just now?
Yeah, similar, but sometimes it's not enough. I've met so many people, and especially healers, that say, yeah, I've let go of the past. I've forgiven this person, forgiven that person. And when I get my dowsing rods out, it's a completely different story. So with the rods, I tune into the emotional body of a person, and I ask the rods, show me the quality of the energy field of anything negative left in the emotional body for this person. Now, if they completely let go, my rods don't do anything. They don't move, they don't shift. But every time they fly open, and I say to that person, I'm sorry, but you haven't. You have not let go. So then I help them. And this is the wording. The wording is important. You make a connection to the hurt, to that person. That's the key, making that connection, bringing back those awful memories to the surface, and then state quite clearly out loud 3 times. It must be 3 times. And when you say it out loud, the universe hears it, your ears hear it, your throat feels the vibration, which then goes into the heart chakra, which then releases it. I unconditionally forgive my dad for all the hurts and harms he's caused me. I love you. 3 times out loud. And obviously you've replaced the name dad for mum, brother, sister, anything at that point. You just say their name 3 times and out loud and mean it. And then this will release you from those hurts and will allow your body to heal. It must always go to the cause. If you're going to fix something, try to fix something, you go to the cause. So if you've got a leaky pipe, you don't put a plaster around it because that's not going to fix it. You have to repair the joint, undo the joint, retape it, clean it up, put it back together, tighten the joint, leak's fixed. Putting a piece of plaster around it's not going to fix it. So it's the same with the human body. You must always go to the cause. Now, modern medicine doesn't do that, and it states it quite clearly. Modern medicine states quite clearly this treats the symptoms of. Well, that's no good. You need to treat the cause, not the symptom. So most healers will always go to the cause, which then helps to heal that situation. Modern medicine just goes to treat the symptom, and then you'll always be suffering with that problem, always.
So we've got the emotional body. What else have we got?
Yep. Now the mental body, that's the toughest one to heal. So the mental body comes from the mind, and that is what where we think about. Everybody does it. I do it. You have a scenario that runs around in your head. You know, let's say you're about to be faced with a situation, a new job interview or something like that. So your brain starts buzzing. How's it going to work? What am I going to say? How are they going to react? Will I get the job? So your brain is like this computer that is just going mental. So then you're actually blocking the outcome of what is supposed to be happening, because the mind is the one that creates the programs for the heart to create the flow of energy to manifest. So the brain is the knowledge, the wisdom, and the heart is the one that creates. Love creates. The brain doesn't. The brain just has the knowledge and the wisdom to send to the heart to create that outcome that you would like to have. But the brain, if it's not focused on one thing and it's all over the place, then the heart doesn't know which way to go. So even if you're focused on something negative in the brain, your heart will know what to do and will manifest that. So this is why we have to be very, very careful how we think and what we think. And especially now that we're in 5D, we are now connected to a very powerful frequency, which is God. We are now connected back to God in this system and back into 5D, which then means that we are manifesting very, very quickly. So be careful what you think and what you feel, because you will create that. Now, for the last 20,000 years, we have been kept away from this frequency of the Om frequency, which is the sound of the universe. And this is through the reptilians that had created this fake moon, which we see in the sky at night time and during the day sometimes. That is not a part of our system, and it's not a part of our planet. That was placed there 20,000 years ago to create mayhem and to create a shield around the earth to keep us away from the Om frequency, God, the universe. And that's why we've been getting sicker and sicker and sicker over the last 20,000 years. You know, we used to live up to 600 or 700 years old, and that states that quite clearly in the Bible. But you know, now we are getting living a bit longer now, as this shield has been removed from us, and we're back in tune and harmony with 5D, which is God, which is the universe. So now that we're back in tune with that, I say we must be careful how we think and what we feel, because we will create that big time.
Well, it's definitely the power of words, eh? Yeah, no, my signal here is going haywire. So I'm missing a lot of what you're going to say. What you're saying. So I'm going to have to listen to the replay.
Jeff in Australia. He's got me straight away.
I just want to come back to the four bodies are the emotional, mental, physical,
and spiritual.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about the spiritual body.
Yeah. So
now the spiritual body is made up of the auric field, which is the energy field that surrounds your body, and that actually can spread anything up to 100 miles around your body and more. The more spiritual you be connected, and the more being that you are, the greater the distance that your auric field travels. Then we have the chakras, the chakra centers down the front of the body. Now, these are linked with the spiritual side of life. So the chakras and the auric field, and both of those are extremely important. If we removed your auric field, you'd drop down dead. If we shut down all your chakras, you'd drop down dead. Now, the chakras, what they do, this is really interesting, and a lot of people are not aware of this. Now, these energy centers have 7 colors. From the base, we've got red. Around the belly button, there is orange. The solar plexus is yellow. The heart is green. The throat is light blue. The third eye is dark blue, and the crown is purple. Now, these link with the same colors on the rainbow. These colors come from the sun. So what happens is, as these colors, which are wrapped all around your body as you walk about, and you can see this if you've got a very fine pump mist spray, and you sprayed it in front of you in the sun, you'd have all these colors that would appear in the mist. Right? So these colors are all around you and pressing up against your body. Now, these are absorbed into your chakras. It's condensed down into physical form through an atomic light reaction, which then feeds your internal organs. So this is what feeds your internal organs, not the food that you're eating. It comes from the light that is pressing against your body, the sunlight. And it's the same with the auric field. So I'm a shiatsu practitioner as well as many other things. And so we work with the meridian lines that surround the body. So what happens is the sunlight that reaches the auric field is then condensed down into physical body to feed the meridian lines that also enter the organs of the body. So the organs obviously are the most important part of us as human beings and functioning like an engine. So this engine, our organs, need to be fed from within, and this comes from without. So from outside, we are fed inside. Now, the amount of energy that we need from food is very little. So we only need about 15% food energy, and then 85% is the sunlight. So we barely need any physical food to keep us alive. Most of it, nearly all of it, comes from the sun. Now, so that's the spiritual body. Now, the physical body, well, that's pretty obvious what that does. That is the home, the housing unit for the spirit. So the spirit needs something to cling on to, and that is the physical body. So this is why things like yoga and Pilates and stretching and exercising and walking around barefoot, we need to stimulate the physical body to activate the stimulation of the spiritual body. So we're coming together as a whole unit. Every body, each body of our bodies needs to be stimulated: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. We can be stimulated through love, stimulated through reading an amazing book, receiving incredible knowledge, stimulated by the sunlight on the auric field, and so on. So this is where we need to have a full, holistic, holy body. And this is where I come in and good healers come in to help you create those energy fields to stimulate all 4 bodies, to make sure that they're in harmony with one another and to remove the traumas from either one of those bodies.
Gotcha. So that's why you English always jump out into the sun when the sun turns up.
Absolutely. Being in Australia, you're in the most amazing place. Yeah, there's a bit of knowledge for you as well.
Go on.
Let's ask Jeff this. Where do you think the heat comes from, Jeff, when the sun's there?
Are you talking about my own internal heat?
It comes from
My internal heat that I generate within my own body?
that happens as well. But I ask people questions. Do you think that there's heat coming from the sun? Most people say yes.
No, I've done meditations where I've gone into the sun and it's not a problem.
Yeah, there's no heat coming from the sun. It's impossible for heat to travel that distance to reach the earth, right? If the sunlight traveling at the speed of light takes 5 minutes to reach us, 5 minutes traveling at the speed of light, that's how far away the sun is. Plus, there's no oxygen in space. right? For flames to be licking around the sun, you'd need oxygen, right? And if that was the case, then this whole universe would have blown up by now. So there's no oxygen in space, and there's no heat coming from the sun. So why do we get hot when we're standing in front of the sun? What happens is that your auric field condenses down the sunlight into physical energy through an atomic light reaction. So the more sunlight that hits your body, the greater the energy that's being converted in your auric field, which then is absorbed into your physical body. That is where the heat comes from. All right. So I've been teaching this for 20 years, that we're going to become a binary system, which is two suns. Now we're already a binary system, and 2 years ago, and you can research this yourself on YouTube and on the internet. The amount of videos now and photographs of two suns in the sky is mental. It's everywhere. And this started about 15 years ago, people taking or seeing two suns on sunset or sunrise. Now, these are what we call harmonic resonances of where the new sun is going to be. Now, I was shown a vision about 20 years ago of the new sun being born from our sun. Now, our sun is liquid, metallic hydrogen. That's science. So our sun is liquid, metallic hydrogen. And the new sun that was born 2 years ago was born how a cell divides. Now, so when the sperm meets the egg inside the mother, that cell from one cell divides and splits into two just by magic, and then into 4, then into 8, and so on. So our sun 2 years ago split and divided how a cell divides, creating a second sun. Now, this was born backwards behind our sun, so it didn't scare us. And then a gigantic sphere, 65 times bigger than the Earth, came in, surrounded the Earth, created a fake sun, created fake stars, and that's where we've been for the last 2 years or more, is inside a sphere. So people have been saying everywhere, that's not our sun. It's too white. It's too bright. It doesn't feel right. It's because it's not. It's a holographic image, right? We're inside a gigantic sphere. Now, that sphere was brought here to protect Mother Earth and us. But when the new sun moved away from its mother. Now, the vision I saw 20 years ago was that the Earth was pulled into the shape of an egg and was destroyed. But the timeline changed. And when that timeline changed, which was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, the timeline shifted. The sphere came in, protected the Earth, and changed the timeline. And this is why we're still alive and why the Earth has not been destroyed. But the sun, the new sun, is now in its position. It took 2 years for the sun to move, the second sun to move into its position. And I've been told about August, September time this year, we will see two suns in the sky for the rest of our lives, forever. And that is what's in store. So what's been happening with this holographic image is that the light has been increasing in its intensity to mimic and create the energy of two suns. So let's go back. One sun, 7 rays, one rainbow. One rainbow, 7 rays coming from that single sun, our sun, solar system. We're going to become a binary system, which must mean we are now going to be living in a 14-ray system. 2 suns, 2 sets of colors at 7 times 7, 7 plus 7, 14. So this is why when you see 2 rainbows in the sky, the second one's coming from a second light source, the second sun. So this is what is happening and about to happen imminently this year. We will become a binary system, a 14-ray system. And this is all a part of 5D. It's all coming in hand, glove in hand.
Mm.
Well, I'll just stop you there. Just saying also, Andrea, there's an anomaly last week, and people here in Brisbane saw a red sun. It was just the one sun, and it was setting, but it was completely red. And I actually ended up, because I got a phone call at the radio station, and they said, "Excuse me, when you go outside, you'll see this red sun." So I went out, got my camera, took a photo. I took several photos, but it didn't come out red. It came out white. Never seen that before. I've always been able to take photos of the sun. It's going through its different color changes. But at that particular occasion, there last Tuesday, it was white. And I posted it. And a lot of other people come through and said, "Oh my God, our photos have come out as white as well." I mean, are we intuitively sensitive to this fact that there's some changes that you just spoke about?
Yeah. What's happening, and people might find this a bit strange. People that know me won't, but people might find this a bit strange. Now, I actually communicate with the sphere, right? The sphere and I are in constant communication because the sphere is here for pure divine love, to empower humanity, to keep humanity safe. And so I'm communicating with the sphere, and the sphere is telling me that it's creating as much bizarre visual a spectacle for humanity to look up. The sphere is trying to get everyone to look up from their phones. You see anybody walking anywhere now, they've got their head stuck in their bloody phones. No, you need to start looking up, because what is about to occur is going to be extraordinary. And this has never happened, obviously, before on Mother Earth and in this system. So we're going to become a twin sun system, 14 rays. So you're going to be seeing all kinds of strange occurrences. Now, I've got a camera, and my camera and a special implant that was placed into my hand a year ago, I'm able to actually video this light source flashing. And it's flashing certain codes. And you can see it's not like the camera trying to focus. It's actually flashing special codes of information for humanity. It's helping to upgrade humanity into 5D. And if you go onto my Telegram channel, you'll see lots of videos where I've posted this, and where you'll see let's call it the sun for now, where you'll see the sun flashing on and off. And some other people around the world have also posted their images of the sun flashing and going, what is going on with the sun? And another evidence to prove that we're inside the sphere, if you look at the moon at night time and during the day, you'll see the shadows that way. It should be that way, right? The moon phases go vertically, right? Not like that or like that. It's changed because we're inside the sphere, and the light source is only a short distance away. So that is why the shadow on the moon is all wrong, because we're inside a sphere. And NASA photographed this sphere 8 years ago, and it was pulling plasma from our star, and it's gigantic. So this is what we call a megastructure. And this megastructure that I've been told was created by AI, sentient AI beings from a planet within our own galaxy. But these AI beings are divine love. They don't need a physical human form anymore. They have a soul and they have a brain, but their body is AI. And that took them of their years, over 50 of their years, to construct this gigantic sphere purely for the purpose of rescuing and saving planets. And also there was one over Mars as well, because there was 2 spotted and videoed, one either side of our sun about 3 years ago. One went around Mars because there's still life on Mars, because Mars is closer to the sun, and then one around us. Now, with that in mind, as we know, the system has lied to us. Everything that everybody and anybody's been taught from school, colleges, universities, they're all lies. Everything, without exception, everything is a lie. So when I say to people, how many planets do we have in our system? Right, we're told about 8 or 9. Let's tell you that's completely wrong. There's 36 planets in our system alone. 12 suns in our system. All the constellations that you see in the night sky are in our system. They're not outside of it, they're in our system, our own little bubble. And I asked, well, how many of these planets have life on them? 22. 22 of these 36 planets have life, more evolved and advanced than we are. And they are our neighbors. So when we're talking of galactic neighbors, they come from within our own system. They are our neighbors. And they've been watching this planet for millions of years. This planet is a divine blueprint program from God to collect 22 strands of DNA within one species, the human species. We are royalty. We have 22 strands of DNA in our bloodstream. And that's fact. And they come from each one of these 22 planets within our system. So they've been breeding with us for a very, very long time to create a hybrid, a royalty hybrid. And that's you, me, and everybody on this planet. We are royalty. And we've been watched and looked after for a very, very long time, because they are about to unleash the most incredible being in this universe, and that is us.
Wow. Amazing. Can I just backtrack regarding the suns? I think I saw a video, I think it was Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that, where they showed they were all filming two suns in the sky.
Yep.
I saw that recently. And also the sun seems to move around, because over here that way is east, and I've seen the sun arising there, but now I see it over here in, I think, southeast. So it seems like, whereas the sun used to go sort of that way, I'm seeing it quite differently from here. I'm seeing it sort of just going over that way. It's bizarre.
Right. Let's expand your awareness even more. Now, there's I can't remember the name of the scientist, and he's a great guy. He's a coloured chap with a beard, and he's got a lovely coloured chap that works with him. And it's almost like a double act. And he confirmed it with me as well. Now, we're taught and told that we go round the sun, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah. Do I get
Copernicus? Yes? Yeah, Copernicus said it.
All right. Yeah. So basically, that's the biggest lie that's ever happened. We are, I don't know how many billions and billions of miles away from the sun. Right. As I say, it takes 5 minutes for the sunlight to reach us. For us to go around that sun in 1 year, right, a solar year, we would have to be traveling at about 10 times the speed of light. Which means we would all get blown off the planet. So we don't go around the sun goes around us. So I don't know how many thousands of years ago, when there's a picture somewhere, and they believed that the sun went around us and the universe went around us. So there's an element of truth in that. So think about it logically, right? And it's also, we're told that the moon creates the tides. What a complete load of nonsense, right? That moon doesn't belong to us, and we don't need a moon to create the tides. The water stays still on the planet. The planet is magnetic, and from the sun, as the sun moves around us, it pulls our planet and tilts it. Of course, which means we then move into the water, which raises the level of the water. And then we tilt back. So we're tilting like this, which creates the tides. It's got nothing to do with the moon. It has everything to do with the sun. Again, everything we've been taught is nonsense. We have to now rethink and question everything. Right? Come back into your power, come back into the knowledge of truth that God created us, etc., etc., And this is where we step into our power, not just in our heart, but in our mind.
Amazing.
42 years I've been studying this, all right? And I've been doing so much experiments on this to make sure this comes.
Yeah, so how does that mean, like, I'm seeing the sun over there at some stage and then I'm seeing it over here?
Because it will move, because the Earth is tilting, right? It's tilting at an angle. So as the sun moves around us, then it is going to be in a different position. Now, where I am, which is looking over the Atlantic and St Ives and Penzance all at the same time, I watch the sun literally do that. So in the 21st of December, it sets over. It's still setting in the west, but it'll be southwest, and then it'll be south-southwest, and so on. So basically, the sun is just like that because we're tilted. Right?
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, because I know I put excuse me, I put a post up saying something about the sun being over there, and I think everybody think I'd lost the plot, but anyway.
No, it
More
will
than
be.
normal.
But it will stay in that arc. It will stay in that arc. It will just be left to right as the seasons change, because the Earth tilts at a certain angle. And did you know that the heart also tilts at the same angle as the moon? Sorry,
Really?
the sun.
Sun.
The heart tilts at the same. I'll get it right in a minute. The heart tilts the same angle as the Earth. Right, so we're about 27 degrees off perpendicular, right? The Earth. That's what creates the seasons. So the heart inside our body is tilting at exactly the same angle. Right, on that point, did you know that the heart is not a pump?
Yeah, I think I saw something, but please carry on. I can't remember what I saw now, but I did see something about the heart not being a pump. It was
Yeah, the heart is not a pump. Look in here still. What's his name? No, I've got it in the other room. Yeah, so basically the heart is there to create vortices and to stop the blood. So the heart stops the blood flowing around the body. So as the blood comes up the right-hand side of the body, enters the heart, but the heart then stops it at that point. And then it releases it to carry on its flow. So the heart's not a pump. What the heart does is it produces vortices for the body. So the blood moves around the body through magnetism. So inside the arteries, the veins and capillaries is a gel stage. The gel holds a positive or negative charge. And then the blood is the opposite, which then pushes it around the body. So if you stretched out all the veins, capillaries and arteries from any body, it would travel around the world 3 times.
wow.
That's how long the arteries, veins and capillaries are in our body. So it's impossible for a pump to pump blood around the body or 3 times around the Earth. That's impossible. So once again, we've been lied to. Now, Dr. Thomas Cowan. So if you type that on YouTube, then he does an amazing 12-minute video on the heart is not a pump. Now, I was told this, and then I've done some research on some independent scientists like him, and he's a doctor, and he confirmed with me, right, or for me, this information that was given to me. So I always like to confirm information that's given to me from God, because this is where it comes from, to me. Then I go and do my research before I share it, because the last thing I want to do is to share something with people that's inaccurate. That would make me feel very, very bad, because then I would be disempowering people. I like to empower people. So I'm just
Thomas, Dr. Thomas,
okay, Jeff?
Dr. Thomas, who?
Cowan, Cowan, Dr. Thomas Cowan. I bought his book, but I think it's in another room. Let's have a look here. Yeah, it's in another room. Yeah, I must have been sharing it with somebody else. But yeah, I bought his book and it's fantastic. But the video as well that he puts up is also very, very good.
The thing is now, more than ever, more and more things are being uncovered, aren't they? For a lot of us, we totally understand it and are with it. For others, it's like still quite hard to comprehend, isn't it?
It is, definitely. So these people that are asleep will have no choice very soon but to wake up, and it's going to be very, very tough for them to realise that they've been lied to, and not just by the governments, but by the medical system, but also the schooling system. Everything has been a lie to keep us away from our power. And people like me are helping people to bring you back to your power. Knowledge and wisdom is power. And that's why they've been trying to destroy your pineal gland with fluoride and aluminium and heavy metals in your drinking water and in your food. They've been trying to destroy your connection to God, which comes from the pineal gland in your brain.
So as we're talking about the pineal gland, I've got my cones everywhere. Where's my little branch I showed you? Because after listening to your webinar the other week, I mean, I love pine cones. I go out, I'm like a magnet picking up all sorts of things. So and I was looking for a big one to do an activation like that you shared. And anyway, I went. So this is all I came back with. I could. I know. So, but I did go in Glastonbury and came back with this lovely little. It was in the window, a couple of gold sparkly ones. I thought, I got to have that. So I got one for myself and my sister. So, so I know I can't act because I know you said about tying them all together. So would you like to share your take on the cones and tying them together? Because I know I wrote down during the webinar, I've drawn my heart and activating the 4 bodies and everything. So, you know, there was such a lot of information. I keep thinking, I need to go back and write it down again. So when you're doing, well, if you share about the heart, but I just wondering if you activate, and I say something like to help me with my health at the moment, for example, and you activate the pine cone, is it because I think that you said you could change, you did a new one each night or something like that. So without me waffling on, could you explain?
Right, let's explain first of all how I came to get this knowledge. Now, if people are watching, if you just look at this pine cone that I'm holding up, and you'll see that it will spiral both ways. It will spiral clockwise and anti-clockwise. So it's designed that way. Now, it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was thinking about the vortices that was given to me, that how we can use vortices for healing. And then I thought, well, pine cones. And I looked at the images which you can see on type in on Google Sumerian pine cones, and you see this god from 20,000 years ago holding a pine cone like this, right? And he's pointing at a person's head or a plant or something. And I'm thinking, hold on, this is a god. Why is God pointing a pine cone? Why is God using a pine cone for healing? So I did my usual research, got my dowsing rods out and practiced. Then it occurred to me, and what I was given, that you can actually place vortices with your intention from the love star or from you into the pine cone to activate it for a certain program. So let's say you have a problem with your knees, for example. Now you can actually get hold of a pine cone, and you say to the love star, which is the star, I can explain about that in a minute, which is the star in the center of our galaxy. You ask the love star to place the correct amount of vortices into the pine cone to heal your knee or knees. Give it about 30 seconds, and you literally just point down, you're pouring the liquid or the programs into the knee or whatever it is. Now, I tried this on many things, on liquids, wine, food, animals, plants, myself, and the transformation was extraordinary. the healing that was produced was absolutely mind-blowing. And then I thought, this is why this God is using a pine cone for healing, because it amplifies the healing energy 100 times. Now, just on one test, that's it. Brilliant. Well done, Jeff. So why should this winged god, this Sumerian winged god, why should he be holding a pine cone? I went to Angkor Wat in Cambodia. The entire city, which is hundreds and hundreds of acres, is devoted to the pine cone. Why? Why has the Vatican got a pine cone, about 5-ton pine cone sat outside its front doors? Why is the pine cone everywhere throughout the whole world? Why is it worshipped? They're everywhere. Because of the power that the pine cone can be used for to assist in the healing.
And it's amazing, something so beautiful and simple has got such power to assist us. And of course, you know, it's about doing things easily and simply as possible without doing all complicated systems and ways. It's like coming back to very basics, isn't it? So
it is. Well, people that know me have been following me. This is all I do. I make sure that what I teach is so simple. And most people think that can't work. It's too simple, but it does. It absolutely does work. And you say this: the simpler, the better. So when I was given this pine cone, I spent weeks researching it, finding the best way. So he's holding it in front of a flower there, look, and also he's wearing a wrist. If you look at him, he's wearing a wristwatch. And in a lot of these images, he's wearing a wristwatch as well. So it probably isn't to anything to do with telling time. It's probably some kind of magical power unit, because they were extremely highly evolved, these beings. And if you see, they're holding a handbag. Around the entire planet, all these gods and beings, especially in Egypt as well, they're carrying a handbag. What the heck's all that about? I know. What did you say? I said, I know. Oh, would you like me to share it?
Yeah, come on.
Right, now, this handbag, which is has been shown in all of these drawings, or not drawings, but carvings, as well as the pine cone, was to teach us in the future. They knew that at some point in the future, in millions of years or 20,000 years or whatever, that we would step back into our power. Now, these gods inside that handbag are very thin copper sheets, and they glow with incredible power. And they are computer sheets. And these computer sheets hold programs. And these programs are there to create. So they could pull out a certain sheet using the pine cone. They would then create something. They could produce an entire elephant in front of them if they wanted to, with just by pulling out the correct copper sheet out of that handbag. The handbag holds the information, the knowledge and the wisdom inside programs on those sheets inside that bag. That's what I was shown. I saw it with my own eyes, and I looked inside, and there's more as well. I saw one being pull out a glowing ball of light, and he placed this glowing ball of light on the ground, and it was mind-blowing what was happening. So this bag is basically a rucksack, if you like, holding knowledge and information and power, but it's very, very symbolic. And I think Proton Mail uses that symbol. And if you look at most symbols throughout ancient history, the dark side have used and piggybacked those symbols to empower their own agendas. So coming back to the pine cone, now the pine cone, I say, will enhance your intention that you're using. But it's more than that. My friend said to me, surely it's just your intention that's doing it. It's not. The pine cone is actually enhancing the amount of power coming out from it that you've given the intention of. Now let's go back to the love star. So my first workshop that I did with Mark and Medina, you must know Medina, Arise Humanity. She's in Melbourne, around that area in Australia. Now, my first workshop is the 5D Love Star workshop. The second one is Pinecone Vortices. And the third one is Quantum Awakening. These need to be done in sequence, either with Medina or with Mark Atwood. Now, with Mark Atwood, you can just purchase the workshops and sit and watch it time and time and time again. They are extraordinarily powerful. And in those, I will help to awaken all of your pineal glands. The pineal glands, we know we've got one in the head, the third eye. We've actually got one in the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the base. And we've got one 2 inches above the head in the crown. So we actually have 7 pineal glands, which mean 7 brains. We don't just have the one brain in the head, we have 7 brains, more knowledge, more information, more empowerment. So when each brain is functioning correctly, which they will do when you've done the workshops with me, then you become a god. You then become able to access all the power and knowledge held within that bag, held within the universe, ready for you. This is the goal of 5D and above, is to bring humanity back to where you need to be, a god or goddess.
Because I know in the webinar you did a heart star, what have you, that it was to for all governments to, it was like to do with 2060, wasn't it? Bringing them up to 20. You know, our intention was to put that prayer out for.
Yeah, but that's in the third workshop. So you've done all 3 workshops, haven't you?
No. I've only booked for the first one, but I joined the webinar and you talked about it on the webinar.
Oh, I see. You need to do them in sequence to get to do the 2060. You need to do it in sequence, otherwise it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So basically,
but I know it was an intention for.
Yeah. So what we did was we drew a love heart on a piece of paper. We drew a love heart on a piece of paper, and we wrote the word all governments inside the love heart, and then we placed other words like love, compassion, healing, and so on. And then we're using the pine cone. We placed the correct amount of vortices from the love star into the pine cone, and then 660 people tipped their pine cone onto their love heart for all governments around the world. So this is something that we can do collectively. So the more and more people do this, the greater the impact of love and healing, and to change the world very, very quickly.
Yeah, amazing.
Right,
yeah, because
let's talk about the love star, because there'll be people out there.
One other thing, Ian. Just one other thing. Hey, in Queensland here, we have another plant. It's very similar to the pine cone, and it's called a pineapple.
Right.
And when you see its outer casing, it's very similar to the casing of the pine cone.
That will work just as well, I'm being told. That will work just as well. Right.
Just tell people what you just did then. Tell people what you just did then. You're just doing
kinesiologists use this, and doctors that are switched on will use this same process. So basically, you link your thumb and finger together on your left hand, like that, creating a loop, and then with your right hand, you create a loop inside it. So you've got they're trapped one inside the other. Now, the left hand is the one that senses and feels because it's closest to the heart. So when you ask a question that is truthful and empowering, then you try and pull your fingers apart, your hands apart. And if it's strong, it's accurate. So if you're trying to think, well, is this medicine good for me, right? And if your fingers break, if your left hand breaks, then that medicine is not good for you. But if your fingers stay strong when you tune into that particular medicine, then that's good for you, or food, or liquid, or a person, or a situation. So it's called kinesiology. It's working on muscle strength, muscle memory. So if something's powerful and good for you, then that loop of the two hands, the thumb and the fingers, it will not break. You'll find it really hard to pull your hands apart. But if it's weak, if that person is, or that subject that you've chosen, and your hands pull apart like that, then that is not good for you. So that person is either lying or inaccurate, or the medicine's not good, or the food's not good, or whatever you've chosen. So I use that as a quick way, or if I've got my dowsing rods,
Got your
then
rods, yeah. I couldn't find mine because I know you work with them a lot, don't you?
yeah, for me, open is a yes, and a close is no. So, but a quick way is that, which is muscle testing. So the love star. About a year and a half ago, I was flying around our galaxy again, and my attention was drawn onto the white light inside the center of our galaxy. If you look at images of galaxies on Google, every single galaxy, without exception, has a white light in the middle. Every single one, pure white light in the center of all galaxies. And galaxies either spin clockwise or anti-clockwise. And that is the most important part of all galaxies, is the spin. The spin creates movement and space. So anyway, I'm looking at this bright light in the middle. As you can see, every single galaxy has that white light in the center. This is a gigantic star, and I call it the love star, because love creates. Now, what happens with this pure, bright white light is that it sends out a radiation of love for everybody and everything to connect to, consciously or subconsciously. And as I looked at this star, I saw thousands of smaller stars around it, and they all sort of blended into one light. And I asked, well, what is these smaller stars? And I was told that these smaller stars are specific types of love. So if you have a love of a planet, love of a dog, love of a cat, there is a star, believe it or not, purely just for that. So when you are in love with a particular type of animal, person, place, whatever, you link to the energy emanating from that smaller star, which will feed you. This is how your love grows for that specific type of love. So we have the major star in the middle, which is the love star. So when you connect doing your healing with the pine cones, then I say call upon the love star to place the correct amount of vortices into your pine cone, then into your food, water, or healing. That's where it's coming from. The love star is obviously sentient and highly, highly evolved. It's the love star that creates the galaxy. Did you know that? It builds the galaxy.
Wow, amazing.
And every being on every single planet is created from that central star. The heart creates. The mind holds the knowledge. The heart creates that. And all the beings in the universe are aware of this. Even if they're evil, right? If they've got evil intention, they still need their heart, because they love evil, right, to create whatever it is that they are thinking about or loving.
Because I know also, and I don't know if this is advanced, but you mentioned about disconnecting from, was it the black star, or I can't remember what it was now, but it was, yeah, disconnecting from, was it the black star, black something?
Right. Yes. So now NASA has spotted this. NASA call it a black hole. It's not a hole, it's a star. Now, I was shown this at the beginning of last year, and I've not taught this until recently because I didn't want people focusing on something that is powerful, as in the black star. So I've been teaching about love and the love star and everything that way first. But we also need to understand about the awareness that there is a black star, and it's a companion star for the love star. We need the opposites of everything. So for us to have light, we must have darkness. For heat, we must have cold, and so on. So within our own system, we have a star, and it's black. And this black star is ready to give anybody and anything, everything that they need negatively. So if you've got an evil intention, right, you immediately connect to the black star, and the black star will feed you all the energy that you need to create what it is that you are thinking about. If you suddenly become anxious, nervous, fearful, angry, you will connect to the black star. That's what it's there for. So what I do and what I teach people is I disconnect. I wave my hand above my head or down the front of my body, and I disconnect. And I say, I now disconnect from the black star. And immediately you do. But if you get anxious again, you'll connect straight away back to the black star. So the black star frequency is all around you, right? It's all around you, touching you. Well, not quite touching you unless you are tuning into it. So the black star is instantly there as soon as you become negative in some way. It's designed that way by God. You need that to help you grow into light. So with that awareness now, you make that disconnection. This will help to heal you and help you to become stronger in your light. So yeah, that is again what I teach in one of the webinars. But I felt it was ready to share with everybody on YouTube on Mark's channel, so that everybody needs to know that, especially now stepping into 5D. Right, now let's talk about 5D.
Yes,
you're not getting bored yet, are you?
No, not at all. But I mean, most of us are 5D and above, aren't we? We're all, like people say, well, we're just going in. Well, some may be, but a lot of us are already there doing the work and so on. So please carry on.
Right, now, this is important to understand. We have 4 bodies, which we've been talking about. Now, the spiritual body is going to be higher in its D than your physical body. So you could be anything up to 26D spiritually, but in your physical body today, you'll be 5D only.
Yeah.
And you might only be 50% 5D or 10% 5D or 100% physically 5D, because we are stepping into a physical realm of 5D. Remember, we are shedding light for those that sleep. Right? We are raising the vibrational frequency of 5D in everybody that is either unaware or even just watching what's happening now on this show. We are helping to raise the frequency of 5D in humanity collectively. Nobody will get left behind unless they choose to, right? God is not like that. I am not like that, right? I will help to bring everybody into 5D physically. Spiritually, if you go onto the webinars that I do, then you will rocket up to 2060, which will help pull your physical body more into 5D until eventually you just start to touch on 6D. I'm 1% 6D. And so eventually, with my how evolved I am, I will keep growing incrementally in 6D. I'm only at 1% 6D. So I've only literally just reached that. So I've been at 100% 5D since Christmas. Now, what we're doing is we're hoping that the rest of the planet, by the end of this year, will be reaching somewhere near 100% 5D. And especially when the second sun is born and you see it in the sky, then this will bring everybody into 5D collectively. And that is where the shedding comes from. So the thing that was placed in people's arm 2 years ago, that created a form of shedding, which then brought down humanity to 3D. But we've now pushed it back up to 4 and 5D. We're not in 4 anymore. We're all at 5D. The whole planet is resonating now at 5D. We cannot go backwards. And when you're in 5D, diseases and viruses cannot exist. Did you know that? It's all about harmonics. Right, and the only way you can have that disease is to actually fear it and hold on to it. But if you let it go and do the affirmations and come into 5D, then you will be released from that dis-ease automatically, as long as you've gone to the cause, which is the emotional body. So do your emotional body, come into 5D, and asking your mirror versions. That's another one. I'm going to be here all day, aren't I?
Yeah.
To have more knowledge, you need to do the webinars, because all I'm going to be doing is stimulating the direction that people are listening or watching me to become empowered, right? To become a god or goddess, and you will, right? You will, without exception.
Fabulous. Well, I know I booked for, and I think I've obviously I don't know what I saw, but I just saw you obviously talking with Mark on one of the shows or something, and you must have talked about the pine cones then, and something just went zoo. And then so then I just paid the link to join the webinar and just loved what I heard and what you were saying. And I haven't really come across you before until now, which is all divine timing, and here we are today.
Absolutely.
So I mean, you're sharing so much wisdom and knowledge. It's phenomenal. I can't even say it now. But it's like, this is a time that we've all been trained for, or waiting for, if you like, to be of service to humanity, for those that are waking up or about to wake up, that we're here to help them without making any judgments of people's choices or no choices and all of that sort of thing, isn't it? It's like this is the time now that we've been waiting for, and we're just really in it now, aren't we? We're just ready to go up even higher and bring those up that are ready.
This is the awakening. This is the ascension. So when in my 20s, my early 20s, I bought a book called The Crystal Stairs and another one called The Ascension Process. Now, way back then, people thought it was happening then, right? So that is like 40 odd years ago, but it wasn't. It was just starting. Now it's actually now we're in it. At long last, we're in the ascension and we are awakening. And when all the pineal glands in your body are awake and functioning, you are there. You don't have to wait anymore. You are there. No. You are awakening. And that is, this was given to me by God. And immediately, as soon as I've come to terms with it and questioned it to make sure that this is where we need to be, I give it to humanity straight away. Right? This is for you guys. Right? And I know for you.
Something that you would have said, like, do this about 4 weeks ago, is completely changed and is something else, and it's forever. You're forever evolving with the information that you're sharing.
Yes, and that can be a bit of a pain sometimes, but you have to change with the times. You've got to change with what is changing. The frequencies and harmonics are changing as humanity is growing in its light frequency. I have not done this for a few weeks. Let's see where humanity collectively is now with their 5D physically. All right, let's have a look.
Okay.
50%, yeah, 60, 70. It's just gone to 60%, so they've gone up another 10%. All right, let's see where they are spiritually in their 5D collectively. 3%. 3%. So you can see how low collectively humanity is. Just in 5D, they are only 3% spiritually.
Gosh, that's low, isn't it?
It is low, but at least they are growing in their physical body towards 5D. Yeah. So this is all about, the whole process is about helping people to evolve from the love star, from the sphere, from our galactic neighbors. They're all watching and waiting. And as soon as that new sun arrives, then that is going to be the key for the entire planet to then wake up and to see our galactic neighbors. There's something else I've been shown as well and told. In 5D, karma no longer exists. Anybody that does pendulum work or dowsing or even doing this, you can all do this, try this now, right? Right? Is the karma now gone? And you should get a yes. So what is coming in its place is instant karma. This is the final goal to heal humanity. Instant karma. So basically, anybody, when it starts, anybody that causes harm to humanity will get bitten hard. Anybody thinking about killing, they will drop down dead. Right? Anybody giving love, they will get it back 100-fold. Anybody helping humanity will get it back 100-fold. So this is going to be a new step towards healing the scum on this planet. And I can say that with hand on heart, they are scum. Anybody who has any intention to harm humanity or animals or Mother Earth, you are scum. Right? And look out, guys, because instant karma's coming for you.
Yeah.
Now, love, wow, you start changing that around, and love, oh my word, the universe is going to flood you with more than you could cope with love, financially, anything. So you start to help humanity, then that is going to come back and love you big time. And that is the final goal in this 5D show, is to make sure that this scum is removed from this planet, or give them the encouragement not to do it anymore, to change their ways. Right?
Okay, so come back to the scum, because that whole that was coming down for me just while you were talking, and I'm thinking, a sec, I'll just change this to that. So if one of those individuals decided to knock on your door and say, can you heal me? So you would actually say, I'll release them from the dark star or dark sun. Yeah, I think that would be the first thing you're going to do. And then the second thing is you're going to go into the emotional body and find out which individual or group of individuals brought them to that path. You're going to then go and say, I forgive you unconditionally. You had a statement there that was really interesting. And you say that 3 times to do that release. And then, boom, they can then start moving forward into the 5D. Would that be, is that a quick analogy of what you've said so far?
Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. But there's more to it than that when you do the webinars, because you'll be taught how to create mirror versions of yourself, very powerful healer mirror versions of yourself, to start to heal your chakra systems and your 4 bodies. Right? Because if all your chakras are in perfect working order and in health, then you shouldn't be sick. It's impossible to be sick, right? Because you're in tune with the 14 rays. Now we have, I've omitted this one because I've forgotten about it, to be honest with you. Now we've got new chakras down the front of our body, and these are 5D chakras linking with the new sun. So I don't mind doing this right now for everybody, including you, Jeff. Imagine now that you're focusing on the 5D chakras down the front of your body, and these are in between all of your primary chakras. They are there. You can dowse for them and check for them. They are there. Now, it's so simple to wake these up, and you only have to say it once, and it is this: I choose for my 5D chakras to come online now.
I choose from the 5D chakras to come online now.
To anybody watching, anybody listening, this will switch on your new chakras, linking with the second sun about to be born or shown in the sky this year.
So do you only need to say that the once? Because I remember saying that in your webinar. We said a lot of these things. So, yeah.
Just the one.
You have to say it again because we just came under attack there on our NBN.
All right. Okay. So basically, to awaken I choose for my 5D chakras to come online now.
And that'll still affect them on the replay when people are listening.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can.
Fabulous.
Yeah, if you go onto my YouTube channel, which is the Healing Master, you'll see me standing there holding a golden ball of light, or looking like I'm holding a golden ball of light, where I offer free healing. Now that's had over 22,000 views, and that was 7 or 8 years ago I did that, and it's still now healing people.
Brilliant.
All right. And I have adapted it. So this is how powerful we are. I've now spoken to my past self on that video, and I'm asking me now to place the correct amount of vortices into people inside the golden ball of light. How cool is that?
Amazing, fabulous. Oh, you're doing a fantastic job. So I'm aware we were going over a little bit. So is there, I mean, is there anything else you'd like to share with humanity? Yeah, but Ian, come on, a quick rush, didn't you?
I was still in bed.
Yeah, I give him his early alarm phone.
I thought it was this evening, so it's a good job I saw the message.
God, I'll say, flip. Yeah, so is there anything else, like words of wisdom or anything else you'd like to share before we finish today?
Yes, definitely. Switch off your bloody television.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
What television?
Stop watching lies and deceit and fear-mongering. Don't believe anything that comes on that television, even you're on Facebook, right? Anything that is fear-mongering or trying to bring your energy down, switch it off. Disconnect from it. Disconnect from the black star. Reconnect to the love star. Reconnect to your 5D love within yourself. But ultimately, be discerning on what you are listening to, what you are watching, because that will program you. And we want to have the best program possible in your body, which is love, which will then collect with the collective humanity. Right? This is what we're here. We are here together as one. And the dark side have been trying to separate us for a long, long time. So don't give them that power anymore. Come back together with your family, your friends, your neighbors. Start being more pleasant, more polite, more helpful. This will then create this comeback for you. What goes around comes around. Yeah. Just be in love. Being is the main goal here. Being.
Which one are we looking at, Ian?
You'll see me standing there in a white outfit.
It's called the Healing Master.
Yeah, the Healing Master. It's all one word. Or just type in Ian Welch. Right, type in Ian Welch.
I've got you already.
You'll see so many videos of me, and then you'll come across one with me standing in front of the screen, holding my hands in front of me. Because sometimes that Healing Master gets a bit sticky. So if you scroll down with all the videos that I've done, you'll see one with me standing in front in whites.
So there's obviously a lot of healing masters down here. Yeah, just put in Ian Welch, and that's how I found
Ian Welch. Just type in Ian Welch is the best way of doing it.
Yeah. So, and anybody can get, because I had a look myself at the free. Well, I've had a little nose. So.
Right, there's one there from Medina. You can see that one there. I'm blowing a golden. There I am. That's it. There. That one.
Yeah. So
this has helped heal 22,000 people for free.
Well, anyway, people can find it if it's not going to work.
Yeah. So there I am, 8 years younger.
And I did read in your bio that you can still do the split.
I can indeed. I'm very flexible.
I'm very impressed with that. I'm flexible, but not for doing the splits, or not yet anyway.
If you read all the testimonials in that, I read it sometimes and I'm in tears. I'm crying because of the amount of people that it's healed.
That's beautiful.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Wow. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we finish up?
That's about it. I should go have my breakfast now.
Yeah, quite. Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight and so much more wisdom. The only other thing was you didn't mention about tying them together. Is that got to be on the webinar?
No, go on the website. If I did that, I might as well do the entire website now. I mean, the entire webinar now.
I know you gave so much information. it's just lovely. So yeah, so thank you once again for all
Hang
you're
on, I
doing.
got one question.
Yeah.
Who's the individuals that created the sphere, and how did they put a sphere over this planet?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. I will answer this one. This will be the last one. So these are AI beings, and they are millions of years old. They're extremely highly evolved, and they literally have come together for this particular galaxy. Right, so they have worked tirelessly for eons of time to become to where they are, and their whole emphasis is love. And they chose to create. Oh, I'm being told something here. Right, there are more AI beings, but they have different functions. This particular planet of AI beings, their function is to build and create these spheres for protection. I'm going to have to research this again. Wow. So thank you for that, Jeff. So I've got more research to do now. So basically this particular sphere, what happened was, as I was following it with my rod, so I was saying, right, how close is it now to the Earth? How many Earths away? I got 10,000. And then in a few days' time, I got 8,000. And each day it was getting closer and closer and closer to the Earth. And the reason why it was so slow, so it did not interfere with the Earth's magnetic energy field, which would have disturbed the weather patterns on Mother Earth. So it had to be done very, very slowly, coming bit by bit and working with the energies of Mother Earth and integrating those into the sphere itself. And then what happened was the sphere opened like that. So basically, as it opened this huge, great door in this ball, it then came towards us on the dark side, so at night time, and then as it closed, the sphere light source mimicked the sun, and you saw the sun rising. So it was done very, very cleverly. I felt it, and people on the farm felt it for 2 days. Something really, really strange in the atmosphere, as the integration of the internal workings of the sphere worked with our Earth. So it's 65 times bigger than us, around about that size. The light source that you see in the sky is only 3 Earths away.
Wow.
So it's really, really close to us.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what was happening. And then what will happen is it will do the same process. It will open up, move away, and come in perfect harmony with our true system and the true 2 stars, 2 suns. So that's how it happened.
And what about the removal of the moon?
The moon will be gone. That will be taken away. When the sphere goes, it will take the moon with it. So we'll no longer have a moon. That was evil, big time evil. That's hollow with horrible things on the surface. Special towers creating frequencies to harm us, to keep us away from God, to make us sick. We were a food source for the reptilians, and that moon was a big, big part of that. And that will be taken away. We will no longer have a moon. We don't need that thing.
Amazing, eh?
All right.
I'm not the only one talking about this as well. There's so many other people that are on the internet that are confirming the same thing as me. That will be gone.
Yeah. Well, watch his space, eh? Literally.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to go and do some research now on these other AI beings and to see whether that links with us. So Jeff, you've obviously stimulated something within me to go and do some research to see. We may have other AI beings that will come to assist us with healing or new technology. We don't know yet. We know that AI that's being created by humans is not good. That's for nefarious reasons. But these other guys are pure love.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you once again.
Jeff, by the way.
Stay on board. We'll just switch off. All right. Thank you very much. And we'll have the show up on Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Google, and Apple tomorrow. Thank you.
Wonderful.